So, I will not die an unlived life. I will not live in fear of falling or catching fire. I choose to inhabit my days, to allow my living to open me, to make me less afraid, more accessible, to loosen my heart until it becomes a wing, a torch, a promise. I choose to risk my significance, to live so that which came to me as seed goes to the next as blossom, and that which came to me as blossom goes on as fruit.
I love that poem.
So this is not required, but we'd love to just hear your voice and say maybe just your first name and one thing that is bringing you to this webinar, whatever it is that interests you in coaching for transformation.
Stephen, can I chime in? I think maybe the best way to do that would be have them type in something in the chat panel. I could try and unmute everybody at the same time, but it gets a little complicated. How would that be? Okay.
So introduce them by chat rather than by voice?
Well, to say one thing about what brought them, maybe it'd be better they could just type that into the chat panel. Everybody, the chat panel, you can open that by, on your interface on the bottom, there are buttons and one says chat, and you can see the chat and see what other people are saying.
And Pete, what about for those who called in? They're not going to be able to do that.
I think there may be a feature in the application to participate in that part of it, but I don't see any call-ins actually on phone. They're all people on through the web, so I mean through computer.
Great.
Okay, because I am seeing one number instead of a name.
I think that's somebody that wrote in a number instead of a name.
Okay.
All right. Okay, great.
So just a name that we can call you by, your first name, and one thing that that brings you here today. So.
And maybe we can read them since
they'll be seeing them.
Well, hopefully, yeah.
So we've heard from Caitlin, welcome, and Mercedes, welcome to you. And of course, this is not required, so.
And maybe, Stephen, while people are doing that, maybe we can just say a little bit more about ourselves and what brought us into coaching.
Yes. I love that. So yes, good. Okay.
I'll start. So I'm Sharon again, and I did the Coaching for Transformation program in 2006. After being in corporate for a very long time, I just had a real desire to make a difference, more of a difference day to day in people's lives. And I was attracted to the program because of the body, mind, soul, and spirit approach to coaching. And once I got in the program, I realized not only was my life changing in major ways, I began to realize that there was going to be life after corporate and that I could do something that really brought me alive and had me feel like I was making a real contribution. I think the other thing that got me really excited is I began to see how the skills that I was learning that were changing my life and situations in my family could really support transformation in communities that I care about. And that's something that has become a passion of mine along the way. So I'm really excited that Stephen and I have been teaching this. I'm excited about the way we bring culture into the program and power and privilege. And so really happy to be here with you all today.
Thanks, Sharon. So again, my name is Stephen, and coaching, I love the process of being in deep connection with people and helping them find more of themselves and then be able to bring that to the world. And so that's always been true of me. it took me a long time to find coaching. And when I found coaching, it really was like, I almost couldn't believe it that this could actually be something that I could do as a career. The process of helping other people connect more deeply to themselves, to find out more of who they are, and to be able to bring more of that to the world. It's just an amazing gift. The other thing I want to mention is I was a little afraid about being a coach when I first came to the training, because I am not a natural entrepreneur or marketer. And so I somehow had this idea that I had to be a great marketer to be a successful coach. And so in the coach training, I discovered that that what I had to do was be willing to really see and welcome other people and be as passionate as I was about what I do. I didn't have to be a perfect marketer. So that opened the way for me to be able to step in, which I am really grateful for, because I love what I'm doing. And I love also being someone who not only coaches other people, but also brings groups of coaches together. And I think that might lead us to talking about leadership that works and why we're there, and what leadership that works brings that we're compelled by.
Yeah. So actually, Leadership That Works was started, maybe 15 or 17 years ago, Stephen, by two women with a big vision. And the Coaching for Transformation program evolved out of that. But the vision really was that coaching could be available to everyone, not just to the corporate elite, but that it could be available to anyone, anywhere. And they set out to make that a reality. And so the focus has there's a wide and diverse group of people who take Coaching for Transformation. And as an organization, we are committed to these skills being used to support social justice and as well as personal transformation. What would you add, Stephen?
Yeah, it's the thing I would add is that what we notice, people discover as they get trained to be coaches, they discover more about themselves and their own gifts, and they discover how to bring those gifts to individuals. And that as they discover those, often they also find a desire to bring these gifts to a wider range, to a community, to the world. It's not a requirement, but it is something that we bring, is a vision of however you want to use your gifts, the possibility that coaching can be community changing,
organization,
world changing work.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and that it equips each of us to work together cross-culturally to bridge gaps and really invite those in-depth conversations that often people aren't comfortable having in the world. So bringing in power, privilege, rank, and race and culture, and helping people connect across differences helps us be the best possible coach to anyone in any situation.
Let's see who's here. So just going to say hello to Caitlin and Mercedes, Krupa, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, Nancy, Wally, and Jill. And I believe...
And Zenobia.
I didn't see Zenobia. Is that on the chat?
It is now. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so
I
welcome
didn't get
everyone.
that one. Yes. All right. Let's keep going.
Maybe we'll start by telling you, you may already know, but a little bit about what coaching is, and then about this coaching for transformation approach. So coaching is really a relationship, and what I love about it is it's a relationship of equals that helps people really get connected to who they are at the core, to their resourcefulness, their creativity, their aliveness, and their inner wisdom.
And then,
oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. So then what we found is that once people have connected to their own inner resources, that they are able to translate that into better choices, a new and more effective action, as well as deep learning about who they are and who they're becoming.
And so Pete has put up a slide for those, and hopefully everyone can see it, the Coaching for Transformation approach. And it starts with welcoming all parts of each person. So diversity is one of our core principles. And, we invite people to bring all of who they are into our learning community.
And that starts from the very first hour of the very first day and is present throughout. What we've discovered is coaching is effective when people bring their full selves, and people bring their full selves when room is made for the parts, for all parts, including the parts that people normally self-manage or hide in a mixed group. So it's a conscious and overt actions that we take to welcome all parts of each person.
And if you think of rooms that you've come into or programs that you've joined, initially everyone gets in there and they're kind of looking around and, do I fit here? Am I comfortable here? Who's like me here? And by welcoming...
Who are these people?
Yeah. And so, by acknowledging, including, and celebrating differences as well as similarities, we're co-creating a space together where everyone knows they can just be at home.
So that includes that second one, acknowledging, including, and celebrating differences. So we know everybody is not exactly the same. And we also know that that part of how we learn who we are is by exposing ourselves to others who are not exactly like us. So we consciously, in our classes, we have diverse faculty, and we seek out and create diverse students groups as well, and welcome and acknowledge and pay attention to all the parts that each person brings.
And so together we're creating this co-learning environment, where we're there to teach, but we're also there to learn from each of you in the room.
And it also gives us a foundation for how we're going to be with our clients, whether it's an individual, a couple, a partnership, an organization. This is part of where we stand as a coaching school and a coaching approach.
Mm-hmm. And so part of coaching for transformation, a big part of it is, and coaching in general, is our belief that clients have their own solutions. And it's our job to support them to access those solutions rather than giving them advice.
Yes, so we ask questions, and the questions are based in them and what they want rather than our ideas about what they need.
So we're getting really curious about who they are and what's underneath the words that they're saying, so that we're getting really in touch with what they're longing for and who they are at the core. Those questions point us to that.
So in the coaching process, one of the main things we do in the coaching is we help clients to connect with and get access to their own resources, their innate aliveness, creativity, and power. And that this is the power of the coaching, because people come to coaching generally because they're stuck with something. There's something they'd like to do that for some reason they're not having success moving forward. And rather than immediately going into problem-solving mode, we help people look more toward who they can be and who they already are, that can approach whatever their issue is in a new way.
Yeah.
And so I'll just finish by saying that once they've found that place of power, then that's when people can make new choices, take different actions, find the learning that lets them approach whatever their issue is in a new way from a more alive, creative place.
And so we're excited about the Coaching for Transformation program because the holistic approach combines body, mind, soul, spirit awareness with coaching skills to get results.
Mm. The other thing that surprised me, but I love, is that that the coaching process, because we meet as equals, because the coach is vulnerable as well, and just because it's such a powerful process, that while the client transforms, the coach transforms as well. So that this coaching process and learning coaching is a process of inner transformation, as well as learning how to bring that transformation to others.
So we're passionate about bringing in depth and awareness and expanding emotional intelligence and also awareness of values and needs. And when people are able to find, really get clear about which needs are met and which are unmet, which values are being honored, which values are not being honored, they're able to make choices and take action that's more aligned with getting their needs met and their values honored.
So a thing that sets us apart is that, and it sounds like bragging, and it is the truth, that we are the world leader in terms of ICF certified coaching programs, in terms of bringing awareness of power, privilege, culture, race, rank, and making that part of the coach training.
And I think that's especially important in the world today, where there's so much divisiveness and, alienation along, various ideologies, that people really develop the capacity to both facilitate conversations and to hear each other in new ways so that we can create bridges rather than divides.
Another thing to know is that the culture of coaching in general has been very individual focused. And so we are pushing toward not ignoring the individual, but also bringing in cultural and systemic things that affect individuals, groups, nations, the world. So just what we see as obvious, important things that have been ignored by the coaching field.
And our faculty is committed to our ongoing growth as well. And I'm sure that's true for faculty in most organizations. What I love about what we do is that we do it together as well as individually. And we're actually, even doing a multi-year actually now, work together on exploring power, privilege, rank, race, and culture among the faculty so we can better support the students in our classrooms.
Here's something else to know, which is that this is not a regular class, that because we coach with each other from the first day, we set up an environment where there is both safety and bravery, so that we can be vulnerable with each other. We can tell the truth. We can work with what we really want to shift in ourselves. That a community, a strong and ongoing community, gets formed. And with each group, that it's a 9-month program, and that is really a gift for us to help it happen. But it is the students themselves that find and create their own community, their own culture that supports them individually and as a group.
And I think that's one thing that does set this program apart from many of the others, because you're together in community for the whole 9 months of the program. Some programs you may come together at various points in times with groups, but here you're with the same people for 9 months, and we do become like family and really support each other throughout the process. And most of the groups continue on and stay connected to support each other as coaches beyond the training.
Another thing that I think is important to mention about our program is that we focus on teaching you to be an excellent coach, and we also help you learn the skills and give you support to begin the process of creating your own business, your own coaching practice, that really has you start with who you are. Just like I said, I'm not much of an entrepreneur, but I do love talking to people about who they want to be, who they are at their core. And so we help you identify who you are, what your strengths are, who you want to work with, in what way, and then how can you bring those together in a way that is authentic to who you are and what you want to bring.
I see there's a question about the online program and whether that same sense of community is established in the online program. And the answer is yes. Some people prefer and are able to do in person, and the online community does still form a deep connection. And in the program that's launching next year in January, they will be using video mostly for those trainings. So you will have a chance to see each other and to create that same kind of connection. There's one more thing I wanted to say too, is that as you learn these skills, you can bring it into your current work, you can launch a coaching business, and you can apply what you're learning to support powerful change, not only in your own life, but in your family, in your organization, and in your community. And these skills are essentially communication skills that support people to deepen self-awareness and other awareness so that people are able to co-create change together.
I just wanted to say a word of what you said about the video calls with the online program. That the way it works is you actually are seeing everybody that's in the program as if, on video. So there is that immediate presence that's really different than just meeting on the phone. So it is very much like what you would have in an in-person. Plus, there are the things that you do with your fellow classmates. You will be coaching with other people in the group. So it's an interactive program, not just a show up and learn program, whether it's the one we teach in New York or the online program.
So I think this is a good time for us to tell you a little bit about the course requirements. We have a slide that has those on it, and we'll run through that pretty quickly. And we'll take some questions and answers, and then we'll actually coach one of you.
So take a look at at the slide in front of you, you'll see it has 3 sections: the training and mentoring, the coaching, and the assessments. And we'll just go through it really briefly to explain what it means.
So in the training, we offer 140 hours of training. And of the 140 hours, you need 125 hours to get certified.
And so the training is 6 in-person weekends. The New York training is 6 in-person weekends. The online program is a series of 90-minute teleclasses. So we do 12 days in person, and then we have 34 90-minute teleclasses that make up the 140 hours.
And then there's 10 hours of mentoring. The first part of that is in small groups of about 6, and those are by phone. Those are 90 minutes each, and there are 4 of those.
And then the individual mentoring, where, and let me just say what we mean by mentoring in case you're not sure. This is the place where you get more in-depth and individualized feedback about where you are in your coaching and how you can get to the next level. So we start with group sessions where you're coaching in the presence of others and learning from others who are getting feedback. Later in the program, you will do the individual mentoring where you're submitting a recording that you and your mentor listen to and then getting feedback that will. The thing I love about the mentoring is that the mentor meets you exactly where you are and helps you take the next step. And it's a series of 4 with the same mentor. So, you know, you start wherever you start, and with the support of the mentor, you grow through each session.
And so that mentor's job really is to help you become the best possible coach you can be. You know, they want to help you meet the requirements and pass the oral coaching competencies, and they're really committed to helping you succeed as a coach, to being the best coach you can be.
This mid-program review that you see, that's part of our support for you. So when we're halfway through the program, we have a 30-minute conversation with you that is about how it's going, what you want and need, and how the second half of the program can be even more powerful. The other thing to know is that we are available throughout. This is just the required conversation to make sure that we are in connection and that we're on track with what needs and wants to happen in this time together. So,
and the middle section talks about coaching, and there's a couple of ways that happens. The first is peer coaching, where you're coaching with others in the class from the beginning, and we're asking or requiring that you do 1 hour as coach and 1 hour as client each month during the program.
And so that peer coaching is supplemented by practice coaching, where you get clients outside of the program and coach with them. So total requirement is 40 hours, of which the peer coaching counts, and the rest is from practice coaching. And the more you get, the better. I just noticed a question, and that was about there's a question about an in-person training in Los Angeles and the mentors. So
why don't we finish this, Stephen, and
yes.
then since we're going to Q&A, we'll take those.
Yeah. Okay, good. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. And so the last thing is working with a certified coach, a CFT, either certified coach or one of the faculty members, for 6 hours of you being coached. And in doing that, you are getting to experience how the skills are being used by an experienced coach, a coach trained in or experienced with our coaching approach. That is a separate cost, and we're able to pair you with a coach that can meet any of your budgetary requirements.
So since this is a certification program, we'll deal with the assessments. Is that part of the requirement is that you demonstrate both oral and written competency. So the oral competencies, you have the opportunity to demonstrate those through the individual mentoring sessions and the recordings you send. And we really want you to succeed. So if you have not demonstrated them in the individual mentoring, then you will continue submitting recordings either to Sharon or me or whoever is your teacher, and to get the competencies that you have not yet demonstrated. So this program is really designed to really teach you, also to really support you to succeed.
And then at the end, we have a written assessment. It's an open book assessment. We give you 2.5 to 3 weeks to complete it. And what most people find is that it's a really helpful review of the program, because it gives you a chance to really go back and, review everything, but also really to demonstrate what you know and what you've learned in writing.
So we're going to take a few minutes to answer some questions. So if you have questions from what we've said or anything else, please put them in on the chat and we will answer them. The first question, do you know an answer to the one about the Los Angeles training, Sharon?
Yeah, one started in September, and there is an expectation that there will be another one in September
of 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So just to know, we have trainings regularly in New York, either in the city or at the Omega Retreat Center. We have them in the San Francisco Bay Area in California and in Los Angeles. We have them in India, in Mumbai. There are programs in Europe. So any others that I missed? And the online.
Yeah, the Bay Area, there won't be another one this year. It's going to be the Los Angeles one right now.
There won't be one in 2018?
No, not planned right now.
Okay. Next question was, are you paired with as mentors, are you paired with the same facilitators that are doing your training? And the answer is maybe.
It's a yes and.
Yeah, there you go.
Stephen and I both are mentors, and because of the number of folks in the class, there are a number of mentors. So you get the ability to either work with one of us or with other faculty members. And regardless of who you get, you're getting a committed person to support you. Also, half of the class is split between me and Stephen as your advisors. So we are always available, as Stephen mentioned earlier, just to support you as needed.
Any other questions?
You can either raise your hand or you can...
Here we go.
Okay.
Typical size class for in-person and online. Usually, I would say 25 to 40. 40 is the maximum, but that's the general range. We want them, that we've discovered that size brings enough energy and diversity without feeling overwhelming. And too small, and it becomes too not enough variety. So we want there to be some different people for you to interact with without it becoming overwhelming. So 25 to 40 for that.
Mm-hmm. The next question is, does the mentoring take place during the in-person sessions or over the phone? The mentoring is separate from the in-person, and it does happen over the phone. So the group mentorings will happen in phone sessions, for phone sessions, and then the individual mentoring is scheduled with your individual mentor at a mutually convenient time.
So it can be a phone session. I also do video sessions if the people want to. So whether that's Skype or FaceTime or something else.
But the group ones are done by phone currently.
Right. So how many more does one need to complete to become ICF certified? So we should talk about the difference between certification and credentialing. When you finish our program successfully, you are a certified professional coach in an ICF certified program. So that is something that you can carry with you around the world. There is nothing more you need to do if you don't want to. There is an opportunity with the International Coach Federation to get credentialing, and those are based in training and the number of hours. So there are 3 levels, and
Yeah, so we're actually training you for the middle level, the professional coach, professional certified coach level. And in terms of the number of practice hours, we're requiring 40. We encourage you to do more than 40. When you get to 100, you could apply for the first ICF credential if you chose to. That would be the associate certified coach.
And for both that associate certified coach and professional certified coach, you have the training requirement. Each certification does require a written and an oral test but you are not required to do any additional training.
So there's a question on, is there any training on the business of coaching? Absolutely. In our March program, we spend a full day on it, and then we have 5 classes on it, really supporting you to identify your own voice and your target audience and how to get clients. So we do cover all of those things. How to get clients, go ahead, Steve.
The thing that I think works well is that because we're doing it during the training, you get the support of the group, both in discovering who you are and what you want to do, and in helping you get going with that, in accountability. So by the end of the program, you will have the beginnings of a coaching business. Whatever you want to do with that, you will have a beginning business.
And we're encouraging you to really begin to get clients early in the program. Sometimes coaches don't feel quite ready, but we definitely want to encourage you to begin getting clients and to begin getting paid to coach them.
Yeah. I'm thinking we should get to coaching.
I think so.
So you want to take over that part, Sharon?
Yeah. We're looking for a volunteer, and actually I don't see a raised hand option here. So maybe Pete, you can let us know how we can get to identify the volunteer. Maybe everybody who's interested in being coached by me right now for about 10 minutes, 15?
10 to 15 minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they should have a hand raised option.
There are 2 people that have raised their hands already. We have
great.
Jill or Zenobia.
Yeah. Oh, great. Anybody else? Let's get the whole class up.
You can look on, if you have the participants panel open and you click on attendees, you can see everybody.
Okay, yeah, I think I just lost that. I had it. Zenobia has multiple exclamation points. I think that's giving me the impression that
it's me. So let me just say a few words to those of you who are going to be watching this. So we want you to notice 2 things. So Sharon's going to be coaching for about 10 or 15 minutes. Zenobia's got something she wants to work with. what we want you to pay attention to is what are the things that are different from an ordinary just, hi, how are you conversation, or any other conversation that you've seen. And then the other thing is, what is Sharon doing? The interactions that she does with Zenobia, and what is her mindset? And we're looking for those to see what is it that allows Sharon to help create a shift for Zenobia. So what are the things she's doing, and what is her mindset? And by her mindset, we're looking for attitudes, beliefs. So what is her belief about Zenobia, about coaching? What is her attitude toward the process and toward Zenobia? And if you could, make notes about that, and we'll ask you about that, what you noticed afterwards.
And so I'm wondering, both Pete, if Zenobia is willing, if we can have her visible on video.
Great. Okay, bringing her in now.
Hi, Zenobia. Are you comfortable with the video?
Yes, I'm fine.
Okay, great. It's nice to see you, and thanks for volunteering.
Thank you.
All right. Stephen, maybe you can do me a favor and let me know when we're at 10 minutes.
I will, yeah.
Okay. All right, great. So before we jump in, Zenobia, one of the things we do is create conscious relationship. And I just want to see what, if anything, would support you in feeling really comfortable bringing your authentic self in this coaching.
It's really hard for me not to bring my authentic self.
Okay.
So I choose to go in with that attitude and everything I go into. But I do appreciate that you use the phrase psychological safety. So for me, that has already created a place where I can be safe. Just the fact that you are aware that creating a psychological safety place is important. So I feel great.
Okay, good. And I think what we said is it's a combination of both safe and brave space. So I want to support you to stretch into whatever you need to stretch into so that you can get where you'd like to get. Okay?
Yes.
So what would you like some coaching on, first of all?
I would like coaching on, see, this is a really good question because this is where I feel like I get stuck at.
Well, actually, stuckness is a great place to explore. So,
Okay.
So if you're starting with where you feel stuck, where would you like to be if you weren't stuck?
If I was not stuck, I would like to be providing these services to minority students.
Mm-hmm.
I want to open up a franchise of executive leadership coaching schools for minority students.
Yeah. So if we were wildly successful in this 10 or 15 minutes, where would you like to be at the end of it?
Next steps.
Okay. All right. So I'm imagining having the vision really come alive for you, and then identifying some concrete action steps you can take. All right.
Okay.
So would you be willing to just jump in with me and let's pretend this has already happened. You have this series of franchises and young people of young minority students or young adults have these opportunities, and your dream has been realized. Would you step into that with me and pretend that it has happened now? We're there.
Yes.
And tell me what you see.
I see a group of smiling young people faces who are getting ready to embark on their own journeys. We're in a small school. It's small size because I want it to be intimate. We're in Chicago right now because I want the first school to open up in my hometown. It's summertime because I don't like the wintertime. And there's parents there, and there are recruiters from Fortune 500 companies, and people, the media is there, Oprah is there, and my family is there. It's my first graduation for my school.
Wow. I have to say, we're going to go on, but before we go on, I have to say, your eyes lit up. You had this amazing smile as you're seeing this. And I love that Oprah is there with you. And I know there's more. Yes. So what's different for these young people now that they've had a chance to go through your program?
They have value. They know, they not only believe, but they know their value. They know what they're bringing to the table. They're extremely self-aware. They have the tools. They have a toolkit of leadership practices and coaching practices to help them navigate through this new system that is going to be very uncomfortable for a lot of them. But they have the tools that they need to access in order to thrive in those type of positions.
And what did you draw on to get to this place? You know, so what are the qualities in you that allowed you to get from where you started to where you are now, that this is so successful? So it gets to the heart of, who are you?
Okay, I'm sorry, say that one more time.
Yeah, so you're here now, Oprah's there. There's some things we know must be true about you that allowed you to take this from a dream to a reality. What are some of those qualities?
I would say brave. I would say strategic, and connected to my passion. Deeply connected to my passion.
Okay. I'm getting a sense too that, you know, so there's bravery, you're strategic, you're deeply passionate. I hear committed. And I'm getting the sense of justice and equity are important to you, like leveling the playing field and having people be prepared.
Yes.
So, and in that, I'm also hearing some compassion. Yeah, you care about people a lot.
Yes. I do.
Yeah. And what, if any, what were any obstacles you had to overcome to get to this place?
Oh my God. There's been lots of obstacles. So one of them, I think the biggest obstacle that I had to overcome was believing in something greater than me again. I feel like, you know, life happens, things happen, and somewhere down that line, I started to question the universe, God, whatever you want to call it. And I felt like he was personally attacking me with the things that I was going through. And I had to rediscover that peace. I feel like in order to tell you that vision today, I had to rediscover that peace. I would not have been able to state that vision if I didn't reconnect to that source and understanding that it is not outside of me, that it is in me. I think I've always thought it was like this ether in the universe, and I am the ether in the universe.
Yeah.
So I really had to get a better understanding of that.
So your relationship with Source and the universe, you also called it God. When you and God, or whatever it is for you, are aligned, what's possible?
Anything.
So where do you go from here? You are alive, aligned, committed, courageous, and you're walking out on faith. What's next for you?
What's next for me is to sign up for this Coach for Transformation program. I've researched a lot of programs, and I'm actually an executive master of leadership program at USC right now. And one of our presenters was Lorraine Aguilar, and she is a graduate of this program. She is amazing. And I told her that I wanted to do coaching, and she told me about this program, and it was perfect. Because it is about the mind, body, and spirit. And for me, that's always been my holy trinity. So I'm very excited about taking the next step to enroll in this program.
Okay, thank you. We're glad to hear that.
That's 10 minutes.
Thanks. Thanks, Stephen. And yeah, so you've already made that commitment. What's one or two things you can do in the next week or two, in addition to signing up, that's going to keep moving you forward towards this vision? Because I get the sense that you are unstoppable.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Actually, so I've been trying to figure out how I can get connected with the Black Alumni Association at USC to provide. We created a curriculum for leadership in my program, so I want to present it to the director to conduct these workshops next fall, and to also get my first pool of students for my coaching practices.
Okay, so what are two things you'll commit to doing definitely that you'll let me know about?
So two things is I need to get a job at USC. So I have an interview coming up this Thursday.
Okay.
And then I am going to connect with Tensi to give her an overview of my idea for the fall to see how receptive she is to the idea.
Okay. So will you let me know when those two things are done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anything else you need before we stop that'll really support you in going all the way?
Not at this point.
Okay. Well, I just want to say I love seeing your energy and your aliveness.
Thank you.
And I am excited to see what's going to be possible for those young people when you have this fully launched.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for volunteering.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so we want you to take a minute to think about what you witnessed here. And so specifically, what were some of the things that Sharon did that helped Zenobia move from stuck and I don't know to a vision and action plan? And also think about who Sharon was being. What was her attitude towards Zenobia and to the process? What were her beliefs, her mindset? And so, and then please, if you have something to say out loud, you can raise your hand or you can put it in on chat. We got some comments.
Is there a hand raising option? Because I'm not seeing it.
It's because
they do have that option.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
It's on the participants panel. Or I think because you guys are panelists,
Right,
Okay.
we have one.
they can click. Also, there's a button on the main interface.
So please, if you have something that you noticed and you want to share, please raise your hand and we'll call on you, or put it in
The chat box.
the chat box. And we will also say things, but we'd love to hear from you. Oh, here we go.
So yeah, it says, I noticed there was a lot of imagery and forward looking to Zenobia, almost working backwards on her journey.
That's
Yes.
That's exactly what happened. Sharon, rather than start with, okay, what's the problem, started from, let's imagine you already in the place you're wanting to be, and got Zenobia there and alive there, and did then look back to see, okay, now that you're here, what's the wisdom that's available from here? So yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And Sharon asks lots of questions. Yes, remember our CFT approach. We ask questions that help the client connect to their own resourcefulness rather than give advice.
And so those are open-ended questions that help people discover things that we kind of assume they know, but they may not be at a surface level. So we're trusting that they have that wisdom. We're asking questions that get them reconnected to their own wisdom.
What else did you notice?
And what about my beliefs, or the beingness of how I was with Zenobia, what you thought I believed about Zenobia and her ability to do what she wanted to do?
So here we get one. You believed in her vision.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And what can you say about that, Sharon?
You know, it's the kind of thing where I believed, first of all, I was personally excited by it, but I also would believe in it even if Zenobia had said she wanted to go to the moon next year. Because I'm trusting what it is that the client says they want and their ability to get there. If they decide they're going to go someplace else later, sure, no problem.
Yeah. So we've got some more now. Modulated pace. So definitely creating space for Zenobia to think, to respond, and restating what Zenobia said, asking for clarity. You did not offer advice.
Mm-hmm.
That feels really true. So you made sure that what you were hearing was what Zenobia was saying, and you didn't tell her what she should do.
Right.
So
there was also some naming what's present, and that's a skill of, naming what the coach is seeing. So Zenobia's eyes really lit up and her smile brightened, and I could feel the excitement and the energy. And so I wanted Zenobia to know that I could see that. And it also helps her really stand in it more fully by doing that.
yeah, and it says here, I saw you reflecting back to her strengths. You were her cheerleader, which is naming what's present and also really noticing what you see in her that makes her the powerful person she is.
And then the one about creating an open and safe environment that allowed Zenobia to open up, that gets to co-creating conscious relationship where we are, creating that partnership, creating the trust and the space where we can see into our client that we are partners in this. Calling out her strengths. Yeah. Cheerleader. Yeah. It's kind of like a champion, championing her,
Yes.
communicating my belief that she is able to do what she said she wanted to do. Another thing was getting her connected with her values, like both having her name them, the qualities in her, but also naming the ones that I was sensing and checking those out with her to see if they were true.
So we're wanting to get you connected to this. We mentioned about skills, so we want to name some of the things that you can take with you. One is shifting your belief in whoever it is you're talking to. So it's easy to come from a place of, boy, I'm not sure if this person can do it. And you have the capacity to step into a mindset of trusting that whoever this is that you're working with has what it takes to do what they say they want to do, or to figure out what they want to do, or whatever it is that they're moving toward. So that coaching mindset of belief, of both acceptance, welcome, and enthusiasm for this person and what they're moving toward, but also a belief that they have the resourcefulness and are completely whole and capable of finding their own answers with the help of the coaching.
And then leaning into those open-ended questions that we call empowering questions. We could put that slide up too, Pete, so that you could just see those are questions that they typically start with what or how. They are usually short and designed to get the person thinking about things that they're not clear about, but could get clearer. So they don't come from us trying to interview and find out more for our own benefit. Those are questions designed to help the client learn more about themselves. So these are some examples. What do you really want? What's important about that? What are you noticing? What are the obstacles? What can you do right now? What support do you need? And then at the end, we get to the what will you do, when will you do it, and either who will you tell or how will I know, which kind of really get to that action and accountability piece.
And the accountability helps people because for whatever reason, it's easier to break our promises to ourselves than to someone else. So when we say to someone, yes, I will do this, and yes, I will let you know, we make more of a commitment. So it's a way of really stepping into the commitment by committing to let the coach know.
So Stephen, I'm actually wondering, can we allow them to coach you for 10 minutes?
Yes, I think we could. And I just wanted to mention one other skill before we do that. The thing that we didn't talk about that Sharon was doing the entire time was listening. There's a listening for who our client is and who they want, what they want to do, and who they want to become. That goes beyond just listening to the words. And so we want to point you to that. Listening is putting my own ideas and my own opinions out of the way and really opening to my client, and again, who my client is, what is it they're wanting, who are they wanting to become. And that listening will help you find the questions, because you hear something and you can just say, so what is it that you're wanting? Who are you wanting to become? What are you noticing? So, great.
Okay. Yeah, I think.
So, how are we going to have them ask questions of me? Because I think that's most of what they're going to be able to do.
Can I make a suggestion that we maybe try the unmuting everybody? Just let's see how it goes, okay?
Great.
Okay.
And so if we have two people talking at once, that'll be fine. We'll have you ask them one at a time. So what will help me is if everybody commits to be my coach. So I've got an issue that I'd like to work on. I'm asking you all to be my practice coaches. And so I'm going to describe what's going on with me in a minute or so, and then ask you to help me move forward with it. So just the sort of bottom line of what I'm wanting is I'm wanting to reconnect to my spiritual practice. And what has happened is my good friend and teacher died in 2016, and I completely lost touch with the community and with my own practice, and I've done a lot of healing in the last year and feel ready to re-engage, and yet I'm not doing it. So I say I feel ready. I have a desire to do it, and yet it's not translating into any kind of shift yet. And I'd really like to shift it. And if you need me to say more, I can, but hopefully that's enough. Is that enough, Sharon, or do you?
I think so. And, so I think for you to all just begin to ask Stephen some questions. You can use some of the ones that are up here, but from your listening, do you have some questions to help Stephen open up his thinking a little bit more about this?
Do you have a sense of what is central to you in that spiritual practice? What is it that you want to deepen?
Yes, thank you. I am very clear about that. The thing that this practice, and it's called Beauty Way, the thing that it helps me do is, I call it living at the speed of light. So often I am in my head and sort of speeding along, and it helps me to reconnect to myself and to my environment in a way where I step into a sense of flow and connection with myself and with the universe and all the parts of it. So that's what I'm looking for.
Sounds like a very rich practice.
Yeah, when I do it, yeah.
And let's start with each person who would like to, just asking Stephen a question, and then we'll come back and people can ask a second question. Who's next?
By the way, I've got my head down because I'm thinking, and being more present with myself while you're coaching.
What do you sense is keeping you from getting back into your practice? What obstacle is there?
There are a number of obstacles. Time, the fact that making time, but also that time has passed. And so I feel it's like there's an inertia of how I've been in the last year and a half. And so inertia, making time, possibly a certain remnant of grief about the loss of my friend and teacher. And also there's a certain amount of like entering into this, it's almost like there's resistance, and I don't know how to say it other than that, but it's like when I first start, it's as if there's something holding me back, and I need some strength to be able to stay with it through that initial resistance / discomfort. So yeah, actually, that's helpful to say that.
What about someone who hasn't asked a question yet?
Stephen, what could be possible, or who could you reach to, or how could you work through that resistance?
So will you be willing to ask me one question? Because I sort of got lost.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Stephen. I heard you speak to the resistance.
Yeah, right.
So how could you work through that resistance? Is there someone that could possibly get you started in that, or yeah?
Yes. So thanks. Yeah. That is, I think, the central question of this coaching. How do I get from stuck and not moving to moving? And unfortunately, I find myself not moving on who I could talk to as well. So it helps. So that's why I'm bringing it to coaching. Is that the resistance is present, and so yes, there's several people that I could call and say, hey, how can we get restarted? Because I wasn't the only one doing this, and I wasn't the only one who lost track of it. So yes, I could.
When you decide not to make that phone call, what are you doing instead?
That's like, I feel nailed to the wall in such a good way by that. Thank you. Here's my translation of that question. Like, okay, what's more important than that phone call in your life right now? And almost nothing. So I know that's not exactly what you said, but that's how I heard it. It's like, what's more important than that phone call? The connector back to your spiritual life. And there are all sorts of things that are calling to me, and that's a really important call. And it's more important than the book I'm reading. I'm reading 3 or 4 books, but the books I'm reading, or yeah. Thank you. Yes, it's important.
So notice that these questions are really starting to land for Stephen. So let's get a couple more.
Stephen, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Stephen, how have you handled resistance in the past?
Giving up? No. In general, the thing that I've found that's worked best is get coached, and also, and part of getting coached is looking, is sometimes what Sharon did, which is, so where will you be once you get past this resistance? Or looking at, sometimes it's looking at, so what's most important about this that is important enough that it will have you step through it? Or being with the resistance long enough that I soften and the resistance starts. So those are the things I've done that works. Stay with the resistance, imagine the future, and connect to what's so important about shifting.
So it looked like Krupa was trying to speak before, and then I think Zenobia may be ready. We'll go you first. Krupa, did you have a question?
No.
Okay. Zenobia, were you getting ready to speak?
No.
No. Okay, how about if we open it to whoever?
Stephen, how do you think you'll feel once you, say, reach out to those friends, for example? How will you feel once that's done?
Yeah, and I'm going to extend that. How will I feel when I reach out to those friends and I have gotten reconnected to this process? And my sense is I will feel so I'm actually taking a moment to imagine. So I will feel like I have allies. I will feel like it's not only me that needs support, but it's me that's supporting them. So I will feel like we're in this together. And what I imagine is I will feel more of a sense of like, I don't know what word to use. It's something like nourished, like something like alive, connected, and fed is what I imagine. We should wrap it up, don't you think, Sharon?
Yeah. Do you need an action question?
I do. I need an action question. Well, I don't know if I need a question, but I need to make a commitment.
Okay.
Because I want and choose to make at least one and maybe two of those phone calls today, this afternoon, and to really step into the we are in this together and the knowing that this is the most important thing I can do at this moment.
All right.
Thank you. That was, you don't sound like new coaches to me. It was because I just want to name that what I felt was a complete commitment to my growth without any sort of sense of, here, let me tell you how you should do this. And that really, plus the great questions, really helped me identify how important this is to me and why I want to not wait another day, 2 days, week, whatever. It's time. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And feel different. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I got the sense that whether people asked questions or not, that everyone was helping to hold the container for the coaching, which is also really powerful. So thank you all for doing that so well. Yeah, and we're going to move on. But before we do, just take even 30 seconds, just individually in silence, and notice how it felt to coach, how it felt to witness the coaching, in both of these coaching examples, just so that you're getting a sense of how this kind of coaching presence and mindset and also empowering questions can really open someone up. Just take about 30 seconds.
Okay. So we're coming to the end, and we want to give you our contact information, because here's what we want. We'd love to have you join us either for the New York program or any of the other programs. And one of the things that we want to offer you is further conversation. So we're going to send an email to all of you, unless you let us know that you don't want that in the chat portion. And the email will offer you the chance to speak with either one of us or another faculty member about what's next for you, in particular around this program. So if you'd like a 30-minute conversation with one of us, we're offering that. There's no charge. This is not we're trying to pressure you. It really is, if this is something you think you might be interested in, you're not sure and want to talk about it, we'd love to talk to you. So,
and if you would like to talk to a graduate of the program, you could also do that. And so in the email that you'll receive, you'll have that opportunity as well. You know, you could always, so you'll be connected with our calendars so that you could actually schedule an appointment with us for the 30-minute call. And if you also want to speak with a graduate, you can indicate that as well. And Kim Ricaldo will get you connected with a graduate.
And you may want to talk to somebody who's leading the distance learning program, and you can indicate that, or someone who's leading the program in Los Angeles, and you can indicate that as well. So,
if you're ready to register, or if you have questions about registering, you can call the Open Center, and the number's here. You will get a copy of these slides. Pete will send them to you after the call. Again, if you wish not to receive an email, we're not going to be bombarding you with emails. We're just going to send you the slides and also the opportunity to meet with us. And the cost of the program is $8,495. If you make the payment all at once, it's $8,860 if you do the payment plan. And we do have scholarships available. You can inquire about that. We certainly want you to feel free to apply.
Yeah, so if you're interested but feel like that you can't afford that, please apply for the scholarship. They're partial scholarships, but they can help make it affordable for people who can't afford the full payment.
Yeah, we are truly committed to diversity, and that includes economic diversity. And so we don't want anyone to be excluded because of the cost.
We are going to end at 3:30, and we will also stay here if any of you have more questions or want to talk for a little bit. So
there's a question, Stephen. I'm curious about the demographics of the New York group. Actually, we are wonderfully diverse, and that's something that we enjoy a lot. So we do have racial diversity, age diversity, ability,
socioeconomic differences,
identity,
sexuality. And I have to say, most people are from the New York area, and we always get people coming in. So from all over the place. So one time even from Hawaii. So it's only 6 times a year. You know, people love coming to New York. So if you'd like to join us and are not from the area, we'd love to have you. So
yeah,
and we're happy to stay in.
Point you to reasonable places to stay, which can help. You know, New York City can be expensive, but there are a couple of places we know about that are reasonable. Yeah, actually, I see a question about the scholarship application. Please contact Kim Ricaldo. We're in the process of getting our application approved by New York State, and we want you to go ahead and apply. So Kim can send you, the scholarship application is being revised. It should be ready next week, and Kim will send it to you once it's ready. So just reach out to her for that.
Okay, so we are officially ending right now, right, Sharon? And then we'll answer questions afterwards, but we want to at least say thank you for spending this time
Yes.
with us. It's been wonderful. Thank you for the coaching.
Yeah.
Thanks for your participation. We would love to see you. What do you want to say, Sharon?
Just a reminder, I know Pete put it up, we are having a free intro for those in the New York City area. Our next free intro is on Friday, December 1st from 7 to 9 p.m. We're also doing a one-day training for people who may be interested in that. It's the same information you'll get in the full course, but if you want to just jump in and get a head start, we're doing that on December 2nd at the Open Center. And Pete, I don't know if you're available if people have questions to stay an extra few minutes. But...
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Okay.
So thanks to those who have to leave. Thanks, and hope to see you again. And for those who want to stay and ask questions, we'll answer questions. So
thanks, everyone.
Bye. Yeah.
Bye.
So one question here, what's different about the free intro days? The free intro is a 2-hour program. It'll be very similar to what we just did. The one day goes a little more deeply into coaching skills, and it will be the exact same material that you will get in the longer certification program.
One thing I would say about the free intro, though, it does give you 2 things that you're not getting here.
Right.
It's the chance to actually be either in the room that we're training in or a similar room. So you're getting the feel of what it's like to be in class with us and to be in the community and physically be with people. So there is that. Also, you're actually able to meet some of the people and see them and engage with them who will be in the class.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it is different in that way. Other questions? And does everybody has their microphone, so you can just ask them out loud?
Oh, I see one that we missed. It says, do the facilitators of the other locations do a webinar like this? I don't have the answer to that.
I don't know either. I know that New York people do webinars, but I'm not sure about other locations.
And we can find that out.
Yeah.
I have a question. On the event calendar on the 21st of November, there's a teleclass called The Power of Coaching. Is that similar and different to what kind of was covered today?
It's pretty much the same. Yeah.
Okay, so good. Thank you.
It would be someone else leading it. So I think the only difference would be that you would hear that person's perspective.
Mm.
And I just want to say to Mercedes, I'm sorry your mic isn't working.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad you're able to chat with us though, Mercedes.
Any other questions? Things you want to say or... Okay.
There's one, the person with the 208 number,
yes.
Is that you, Caitlin?
No, the 208 number, I'm sorry, that's me, Nancy.
Oh, hi.
Okay. I think that's just how my computer, it's a work computer that has an identity number to it. So that's why it showed up. I recognize that number as my employee number for the company I work with. And so I apologize for that. I didn't know how to change that. I know someone gave me a suggestion for that, and I didn't want to press the wrong buttons and then disconnect. So
that's okay.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Nancy.
No, Mercedes, you're the only ones left, so we wanted to check and see if either of you had any questions.
I apologize. I didn't have an intention to be a number, and it just showed up that way. So I assume you have my email, though, connected to this to get the additional information.
Yes. We will be sending it to you, so, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Did you have any other questions today? Or Mercedes, do you?
All set for today. Look forward to a follow-on conversation, though, because I might have more then.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Right.
Have a good
Wonderful being with you today.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Pete, thanks so much for your support, as always.
Yes, you were great. Thanks.
Yeah.
Sharon, you were great.
And you.
Thank you. All right, I'm going. Do we need to talk anymore?
I'm
I
all
don't think
set.
so, unless we want to just tell Pete again how wonderful he is.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You really were, Pete.
Okay, good.
You made
Good
us-
luck.
you made
Good
us
luck to you
look
both.
better
I'm
than
gonna-
we do. Okay.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Well, Pete, you're going to send them the slides, right?
Yeah, I'll be sending the slides and also some more information about those upcoming dates you mentioned.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Will you copy us on it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.